This episode of TechCrunch Live is presented by Tamer. Join Tamer and Forrester for a free webinar August 10th on cloud native master data management. Discover the benefits of moving to a modern MDM solution and the impact of mastered customer data on business outcomes. Sign up by clicking the registration link in the chat window below. Hello and welcome to another episode of TechCrunch Live. My name is Brian Heater. I am the hardware editor at TechCrunch. TechCrunch Live is all about helping founders build better venture-backed businesses. We usually do that by bringing together founders and investors who finance them, and they talk about how they met, why they chose each other, and how they work to continue moving forward. Today, however, we have a very special edition of the show. It is a Startup Alley edition of TechCrunch Live. That means that the entire episode is a pitch off where founders will share what they're building and our expert VC guests will give their live feedback. All companies pitching today are going to be a part of the Disrupt Startup Alley. That means that you can also check them out at the Disrupt Startup Alley where they will be exhibiting. Disrupt itself goes down on September 21st through the 23rd. You can grab a ticket to the show by using the link in the chat. All right, and now to introduce today's guests. Starting us off is Edith Yeung. Edith is a general partner at Raise Capital and author and creator of the China Internet Report, an annual report on China technologies trends. It is widely popular among investors and corporate executives. And Silicon News, a weekly briefing on Silicon Valley funding, merger, and acquisition news. And we are also joined by Laela Sturdy of CapitalG. Laela joined CapitalG, Alphabet's independent growth fund, shortly after its inception in 2013, and has invested in some of the decade's highest growth companies. That includes Stripe, Duolingo, Gusto, Webflow, and Uncork. Laela came to CapitalG from Google, where she is a managing director of emerging businesses. She launched and scaled a number of businesses and held leadership roles within YouTube and search. All right. Thanks both of you so much for joining us. Hopefully you're as excited as I am to do this today. The pitch off is going to work as follows. Each founder will have exactly 1 minute to pitch their company, and then Edith and Laela will give their feedback for about 4 or so minutes. It'll be conversational with each of the companies. We've got 10 companies lined up and about exactly an hour to get through this. So get ready and let's get at it. Are we ready to bring up our first company? We've got Keenan from Nordetect coming up first.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready.
There we go. Hey, Keenan. Having a little trouble with your audio. You sound like a cricket, which is probably not the intention. That's fine right there.
Right now?
Are you able? That's great. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's get the clock ready and. All right. Way you go.
Agriculture today, both indoor and field grown, depend on labs to get their soil, water, and plant samples tested. They perform these tests so they can inform their decisions on how much they need to fertilize, apply inputs, etc. But these tests take days, sometimes weeks to get their result, and that time spent is basically your yield decreasing while your crop's undernourished. So we brought the lab to the farm with a portable device that can measure the panel of nutrients that the farmers are looking for, the growers are looking for, and it can be done by anyone. The core of the innovation is a patent-pending microfluidic chip, if it's visible, and that basically automates the job that the technician would do in the lab. So while every farmer is a potential customer, we've targeted the CEA industry. That's about $200 million opportunity. And to date, we've done pilots, validations, and we're looking to get into mass manufacturing very soon, launching next month. Thank you for the...
All right, Edith and Laela, have at it.
Could you maybe share just a little bit more about how the product works when you bring it to the farm, what type of tests are done, implementation, who does it, and time to get results back, and what the process looks like?
Sure. We'll take that backwards just because it sounds easier. So it's as simple as adding a drop to this cartridge. It's invisible here. So sort of the pregnancy test, the quick rapid test model. We pair that with an electronic device. So a grower would add a water sample, soil extract to the chip, insert it into the device, very much like the glucose test for diabetes. It gives you a panel, so it gives you nitrate, phosphate, potassium, magnesium, and calcium, which are sort of the key macronutrients that vary rapidly in soil and water. And it's connected, so the amount of work to be done is basically get your sample out of your tank, add it to the chip, and that's it. We target CEA mainly as it's easier for them to conduct this activity. In soil-based farming, we target the agronomist, not directly the farmer, because they're doing this task anyway. So whoever takes samples and sends them to the lab, we shortcut that path.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about like who are you selling to? Usually, like who exactly are making decision to buy? How long is the sales cycle and all of this stuff?
So I think that now we've got the cycle down to about 2 months. It was a bit longer before. Typically, there are companies that are either providing some kind of technology package. So think companies that are building infrastructure and then selling that infrastructure. So greenhouse manufacturers, technology providers, that's one stream. That's the fastest moving stream for us. But we also get a lot of interest from companies that are directly growing, albeit that's a little bit slower because we're not on the market, not out in a lot of places. So I think the references are something that they're looking for. The distributors and the system integrators, technology providers, they're faster moving on that. So those are the kinds of companies that are buying right now.
And how long does it usually take for them to make decision to buy?
About 2 months. If it was 5 months, 3 or 4 months ago, it's shortened down significantly now. Also because we say, okay, we'll just try it. We'll ship you a trial unit. So that really cuts down the decision-making time.
Great. Super interesting business. So thanks for the pitch. I know we're supposed to share a little advice. So I think one of the things that would be great to understand up front, I think you articulated the opportunity really well in terms of all these farms that need this information. It would be great to get a little punchier on why they need a mobile device at the farm to do it, and like what's the pain point? Why is it so painful to send something to a lab and wait for the results back? Is that costing a lot of money? Is time money? Like what's really broken about that process right now? As sort of qualitative and quantitative that you could be about that would help bring it to light.
Thank you.
Yeah, completely agree with Laela. I think usually if you be able to quantify and basically saying either you help them to increase their crops in terms of growth, or you basically reduce times in terms of or expenses, if you can quantify that. And also you talked about you have POC, right? So the proof of concept maybe with, I think you're in Denmark. So like in the biggest aquaculture company in Europe, because I am not an agriculture expert, so definitely need some education from you. Mm-hmm. So the more that you can quantify and basically a little bit social proof of what you have done that's so unique, particularly the European market, that would be super helpful.
Thank you.
Awesome. Great advice. Edith, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you at Disrupt in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Coming up next, we have Tom from Cafe. All right. The fun of doing these things live. We get to vamp a little bit. I think that's it's fair feedback. You know, you can't assume that every single person you're pitching to is going to be an expert about soil and agriculture. Is probably.
Yeah, I'm definitely no farmer. So.
All
Hey,
right,
everyone,
Tom,
can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Cool. So Tom, yep, we got you. You're going to see a clock timer pop up in about a second now.
Perfect.
Here we go. And you are live.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tom. Cafe is an app that helps people decide where to work from. COVID accelerated the hybrid model, and nobody wants to fully go back to the office. About 60% of the US workforce is going hybrid, which represents a $10 billion market. We're focusing on employee experience because people only adopt solutions they love. Engagement is the key to make culture thrive. We're two brothers with a strong expertise in mobile consumer application. We launched 2 months ago, joined YC latest batch, and already reached 8K MRR. Our apps empower people to meet in and out the office by showing you who's working and from where in the upcoming days. Right now, we offer a free plan for up to 50 people that you can try out today. Our onboarding only takes 2 minutes, and we're sure your teammates will love it. We also include integration with Slack, Google Calendar, or other HRIS. We are Cafe, and thanks for listening.
All right, timing is perfect. Judges, have at it.
Very cool idea, Tom. I like it a lot. Just to clarify, who can you see working? Is it your colleagues? Is it your friends? And how does that process work?
Everyone within the organization. Like, we really want to have a live stream of data that you can just display and find out who will be at the office in the upcoming days.
Great. And then one more question for me. When you, who's the decision maker on paying for the plan, and how much does it cost?
Yeah. So basically, we have like 3 different value proposition. The first buyer is the workplace people, like, because they have a better budget, and we really like have an ROI approach for them because we optimize space. But on the second hand, it's really like HR and people operation that we are like aiming to, because we kind of help on the culture and engagement, like employee experience side. So we are basically having both. Like, one is the buyer, but the final like value proposition is going to HR and people.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So along the line with what you just said, I'm actually on your site now. So you're charging like $5 per person for pay. Yep. Out of the 8,000 MRR, like how many organizations, and what's the typical, I guess, target market? Do you think like bigger companies, smaller companies? And last but not least, you are integrated with Workday and all that. So, so what sort of like, I guess, report analytics from an HR person will get to see?
Got it. So to answer you, so we have 26 paying customers. We started with startups about like 50 to 100 people, but basically we are targeting high growing startups from the tech scene because they are the first one to just lead new innovation when it comes to workplace and like way of working. So the bigger the company, the bigger the problem is. And right now, since like we had a lot of demand, we just are having some demand from companies between 3 to 5,000 people. So yeah, this is the answer. And your second question, I'm not sure exactly to remember.
What sort of reports, like if I'm HR, I will get to see by using the tools?
Yeah. So we're synchronizing with HRIS to basically get the holidays from people to synchronize them within Cafe. So people don't have to input twice the same information in 2 different tools. And the thing is, we like have a lot of different dashboards already set up within Cafe. So people can understand how are people engage with the workplace, and find out maybe when there's new workplaces that you need to open, because you see where are people working from. So there is a map and you have the location strategy of people. So you can basically say, hey, we need to move out from that office, but maybe we need to rent another office in a new location.
Is the primary value prop to the HR team, or is it to employees themselves to be near or close to colleagues?
I'd say employee first, because this is really like what we want to bring. Like so my brother and I were employee in the same company, and we really built Cafe to answer the problem we were like facing as not seeing our teammates, because you are going to see each other less in a hybrid workforce. But then it comes out that for HR, it's a great way to maintain talent, because people are here for the culture and are engaged with the mission, the values of the company. And if they don't come to the office, they just become some kind of people you can just rehire from another company if they stay just home and they don't see their teammates and culture.
So one quick piece of advice is I would start with that at the beginning of your pitch, because I think everyone's bought in that hybrid's kind of here to stay in some format. So I'd really hone in on the challenge of it and how your platform helps solve for some of those challenges.
Got it. Thanks
Good
for the
luck.
feedback.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, my advice is keep the Jordan shirt because I feel like you bring a certain kind of energy when you're doing a pitch. Tom, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks.
We are going from cafe to pudding. Coming up next, we have Anastasia from Pudding.ai is the next company.
I'm hungry.
We got a food one after this. I don't know who sequenced this, but next time we'll make sure everybody has something to eat at home. Anastasia, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi,
Great.
Brian.
Hello. Thanks for joining us. So you're going to see a timer pop up in just about a second. It's going to give you a countdown. Here we go. And you are live.
Pudding.ai is a real-time creative analysis platform. We help marketers easily understand their ad creative performance by answering 3 questions. The first, what creative worked for them? Why does it work? And how they can improve that. The main challenge with creative today is that creative, we're referring to videos, images, and copies, are really hard to analyze because they're not numeric, which is taking a lot of effort and time. Additionally, we know that creative is the #1 driver for advertising success. And creative errors can cost 20 to 50% of media budget loss in dollars. Therefore, for advertisers to be able to compete in the fast-changing and scale their advertising in different digital platforms, they must have a creative insight regarding what moves their ROI needles in real time, in simple and accurate way, just like Pudding does. Thank you.
All right. Great. Who wants to go first this time?
Edith, you want to go?
Sure. So would you be able to clarify who will be the ideal customer? Is it more agency or the creator themselves, or are you also like serving, let's say, like TikTok versus, Snapchat, and like what sort of platform do you support?
So today we support 3 main platforms. We support Facebook, Instagram, Google, and all the Google ads within them, which includes YouTube, Gmail, display, and we also support TikTok. And the way that we work, our main client would be normally the advertiser. But the way for us to reach the advertiser is either talking to mid-market and enterprise advertisers in the world of B2C directly, or we'll also partner with other platforms and with agencies that will help us to reach their clients.
And Anastasia, can you help explain what data you can provide to the advertiser that they can't get through sort of basic click data or running, controlled surveys or something? What's different about what you're providing?
Definitely. So first of all, the way that we work, we connect to those platforms from the client, and then we help them to analyze that. In terms of unique data, we're basically having the data from the platform. But what makes our solution unique is the fact that we organize it, analyze it, and do it in a different way. Meaning that an advertiser today can go into their Facebook and see their campaign. They can see the performance of their ads. But for them to understand whether the creative was reused or played in different platforms, where it performed better, like what within it was driving the performance. Was it the CTA? Was it the characters? What is the color? What is the thing? It's something would require them either to do tons of different A/B testing, which will cost them a lot of money, or they will really need to go and to look at tons of different creatives and to go over that and to analyze them, to compare them and to run different correlations. And our platform, by using AI technologies and machine learning correlation, can do this in real time and really fast and provide them with insight, predictive analysis, and suggestions.
And do you have any results of any specific customer results yet?
Yeah, we have different case studies that appear in our website that you can really go on and look at. And we can see that by using our platform, we basically help them to improve several metrics. On one hand, we help them to improve conversion because we help them to understand when creatives are fatigued, when different creative, how to change and what to improve. So they know how to change and adjust their campaigns. So that it helps them to drive better performance. We help them to drive better ROI by correlating also between the different creatives and the target audiences that they are doing. And also we help them to save a lot of time from them running manual analysis or depending on the media team to provide them with data. So we help them to do in real time.
Can you explain to us how do you charge, and like how many customers do you currently have?
So we have today few dozen clients in terms of using the platform. We also have partnerships, which drive us to more clients in that way. In terms of charge, we normally charge it by account base. So it can vary between whether the account is smaller or bigger one. So it's based on banks of how big is the account, and it can move from few $100s to few thousand on a month, depending on how big the account is.
Great. Well, sounds like a really exciting, and I can see why it's really valuable. The only advice that I would have is maybe try to integrate why it makes sense for an independent company to do this and why these big platforms haven't invested in this type of metrics and measurement before, just to establish that up front. But great job.
Awesome. Anastasia, thank you so much. All right. I promise you all a food one next. I don't actually know that it's food. It says food in the title, but we've been fooled a couple times before, so it's hard to know.
We didn't get pudding.
Yeah. All right, Travis, are you there? There we go.
I am. Can you hear me and see me all right?
We can. You look like a Beastie Boys video circa 1991.
Oh, it's just that old school skateboard, BMX, punk rock stuff that I spent many years back in. I can remove it if
I love it. Let's keep it going. You're going to see a timer count you down in about a second. There we go. And you are live.
Awesome. So yes, my name is Travis. I am the founder of Foodspass.com. That's foods with an S. In LA today, but my entire founding team is globally distributed and from the UK, US, Africa, Mexico, and more. Our product is going to help you save more money at the cafe or on your next pudding purchase. So for context, over $1 trillion will be spent this year on food by over 145 million digital coupon app users. We built the first Visa cashback card and savings club dedicated to food. So, I mean, it's clear, or at least it is to me, that people want great deals on all their different meals. And, you know, again, if you're like me, kind of just tired of juggling different apps, schemes, rewards, programs, coupons, et cetera. So our solution is non-agnostic to any retailer, brand, dietary preference, et cetera. Really, whatever food you want, wherever you buy it, get the best deal every time. And yeah, plenty more to chat about. We're uniquely merging food tech and fintech to make an impact.
All right, we're at about time. I like the references to the other startups. I don't know if that was necessarily the right move. Laela and Edith can give you some
cafe later, so there's no disrespect intended whatsoever.
All right, you want to kick us off?
Bread pudding would probably be my favorite, by the way, and all great brands here. I really appreciate the TechCrunch community and the investors for your time today. This is great.
Awesome. All right, Laela and Edith.
Maybe I kickstart. Travis, you're making me very hungry. And I saw you already have both iOS and Android up. And so what's when exactly did you launch? What's the install base? What's the MAU, DAU you're looking at? And then last but not least, how do you monetize?
We are pre-launch. Our app is currently under the speak. Our CTO is located in the UK. That's strategically next to our technology enabler that we're working with. That's behind a lot of the major fintech unicorns, over 11 in Europe, Revolut, Monzo, and players like that. And we're actually positioned to be the first fintech in America once we launch later this year to be using this technology in the States alongside the host bank that we have as a partner. So we are pre-revenue, pre-launch. We have about 60 brands on the platform. Currently, we haven't spent anything on marketing. We've got about 5,000 wait lists, just social media media, some friends, throwing some shout outs, things like that. And about 60 great brands we've already signed up. We are working alongside some brands like Starbucks, Kroger, Recess Drinks, and a number of others to kind of build out some pilot programs, case studies, things like that. Once the app launches ahead of our full card program, this is going to be essentially the largest searchable database of food deals in the state. So we're manually completing a massive database, upload right now. And we're also doing some business development efforts with a self-service portal. So we're actually going along, funny enough, as TechCrunch Disrupt is happening, one of the largest grocery trade shows is happening in the States as well, where we will be, and we have meets with most of the major grocery stores and many major brands, and we're looking to onboard several with our self-service dashboard to allow these different brands, grocery stores, restaurants, a free avenue to promote kind of whatever their special is, the $9.99 lunch special, whatever the case may be. This is all kind of happening right now as we speak. It's a great question.
Mm-hmm. So Travis, thanks. It sounds like an exciting idea. One of the things that comes to mind to just give feedback on is when I heard the initial pitch, I thought, there's been quite a lot of players like this in this space. So I'm wondering whether you could address that, or what really is broken, or what's different, what hasn't worked before, and what is unique about what you're trying to do here.
Well, the closest example that I can come up with would be like Diners Club International. That's a very intriguing story for another time that really shaped the whole credit card space in America and the world. But currently, there's not anybody that's doing everything that we're going to do under one solution. No shortage. Sorry, just moved the dog. Still putting this house together right now over the weekend. There's no shortage of broad use payment solutions, no shortage of retailer specific solutions, et cetera. Where food's focused, food is an affinity. It's something that makes people's mouths water, and, foodspass.com, people just kind of get it. But it's a great question. We'd love to chat further about it.
All right, Travis, thanks so much.
Thanks, Travis.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Cool. Coming up next, we have Topaz from Enoble. There we go. Topaz, are you there?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for joining us. So you're going to see a timer countdown in a moment. There we go. And you are go.
Hi, my name is Topaz Smith, and I'm the founder and CEO of Enoble, a travel company that creates local cultural immersions you would never experience while riding on a tour bus. Have you ever experienced the Peruvian culture in New York? Connecting with a cajon player, an Afro-Peruvian drummer, learning the history and culture of Peruvians through food and culture? We work with individuals and small to mid-sized companies, helping them to think globally. This matters because we help build inclusive work culture and diversify perspectives. According to Forbes, EBT margins for companies with diverse teams were nearly 10% higher than companies with below average diversity. Think of us as linking your DEI webinar and CSR programs together with subject matter experts from diverse backgrounds. We activate and implement your DEI training. We invest 3% of profit back into local Black and Brown communities. With this current trend in the trillion-dollar travel industry for immersive and unique experiences, we aim to capitalize on this.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right. Laela, you want to kick us off with this one?
Yeah, great. Really intriguing idea. Curious how you're thinking about recruiting the experts and what the revenue business model is for paying them and for charging the end customers.
Sure. So the business model is we take 50% margin off our costs. We charge the B2B or the individual a certain percentage or at least a cost. And then we use the proceeds to put into local community initiatives. And those include youth programs where we expose certain youth in low-income areas to cultures they ordinarily would not have known of. And we also put money into travel communities that are building they're building certain travel products in their community and are unable to find resources to build. And so we give them a certain percentage of the profits.
Great.
Topaz, what do you think about the Airbnb experience?
Sure.
I can't wait to try the South Indian vegan cooking class. That looks awesome. But
Yeah.
then at the same time, like if I can see that is also available, how will you differentiate yourself?
Sure. So for Airbnb experiences, I actually spoke with Airbnb, and we differentiate because we focus on more diverse candidates that are not online. So, for example, the Peruvian experience in New York, you can't find an Afro-Peruvian cajon drummer on Airbnb experiences. A lot of the people that we connect with don't have certain value creation experience. They don't have marketing spend or ad spend. And those tend to be a lot of Black and Brown communities that don't know how to tap into, this platform. And Airbnb itself, before the pandemic, was trying to create something a bit like that, which was supposed to be called Airbnb Ventures. And that was to be a bit more bespoke, which is what we highlight. So that's what I would say. I mean, you can get insight, but it's not necessarily a deeper insight into those subculture economies that sometimes people are looking for, but just don't know how to access.
So on this note, you talk a lot about on the supply side. How about on the demand side in terms of go-to-market? Where are you at now, and have you launched already?
Yeah, so we're doing a lot of beta. We're negotiating with a Fortune 500 company right now to create experiences for them and to increase their team engagement, especially as they bring people back into the office. We also recently did a tasting in New York where people were able to experience Senegal through food and through the Kora guitar. So we're finding, and we were sold out very quickly. So people are looking for ways to, because they can't travel as much as they want to, they're looking for ways to find these cultures, to connect with these individuals in their cities that normally they don't know how to find.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. I love this idea. So we're supposed to give some practical advice to a few ideas. I thought the beginning of your pitch was really compelling, how specific you are and visual and sort of bringing some of these experiences to life. One thing that you could maybe add is a data point or two just to capture, I think what is fairly well known, but like, X trillion or whatever dollars are spent on experiences, and the recent generations, whatever percent of them, that's what they want to spend their money on. And then I thought your answer to the last question was awesome around your unique approach to the supply, that you believe you and your team can have access to a group of people that are not currently online in other platforms. Finding a way to integrate that into the pitch up front, I think, is really compelling about why you're different. So great job.
Thank you.
Awesome. Topaz, thanks so much. Cool. All right. Coming up next, and give this one a shot. Please correct me if I butcher it. Natalie from Bassmap. Hello. Are you there? We can see you.
Anatole.
Anatole?
Yes, Anatoly. Yeah.
There we go. I should have just, I'm just going to make Edith say the names from now on. All right. All right. So you are going to see a timer countdown in about a moment. There we go. And you are go.
Hi, my name is Anatoly, and I'm founder of Bassmap. Bassmap is a mobility metaverse where you can find all mobility options in one app. In one app, you can go from point A to point B by using different type of transport. You can find in one app all scooters like bikes, Lime, and Bird. You can also buy a ticket for the bus, or train, or airplane, or you can rent a car if in a new city you've never been to. Let's imagine you go right now to a new city, or you're in your city. You probably have 5+ mobility apps on your phone. With Bassmap, you don't need these apps anymore. You can use just one. And travelers always are looking for a way how to get from point A to point B in a city they've never been to. So we have right now 300 partners like Uber, Lyft, Priceline, rentalcars.com. We have data in 15,000 cities. We focus on New York, San Francisco, and they have amazing team with experience in marketing, mobility, and they sold companies. We created profitable companies and growing back.
Awesome. All right, let's get started. Who's got a question?
How are you different from Citymapper, and how are you going to compete with them?
Yeah, is Citymapper is the same as Kayak to you or rentalcars.com? No, completely different companies. So we aggregate it, rentalcars.com, Kayak plus Citymapper in one app. So Citymapper focuses on urban mobility only. We combine suburban and urban mobility together. The problem is with Citymapper, because Citymapper focuses on urban mobility, it's so hard to monetize in mobility, in urban mobility, but it's so much easier to monetize in suburban. So the combination of all together gives you much more abilities, and the user experience, lifetime value of the user is much longer when you combine two together.
How do you envision scaling marketing and getting initial marketing off the ground, given how a lot of noise in the mobility space to drive distribution?
So our general mission is to give access to people to have one app instead of dozens, right? So we are focusing right now only in San Francisco and New York. I think that the best strategy will be affiliate marketing by making partnerships with transit authorities and our partners like Lime, Bird, and others, because we give them more revenue in a company. If more people use us, more people use their bikes and scooters, they get more money. So they share data with us. So right now, we are like putting stickers on scooters. We are putting stickers around bus stops. We advertise. We're gonna advertise more in airports and with transit agencies and so on. So they're interested to help us that their users can use our app to use their services as well. Yeah. Through our partners shortly.
I saw that you already launched on both iOS and Android. Can you talk a little bit about when you launch? What's the current usage, install base, MAU, DAU, and churn and all that?
Yeah, I can say we have thousands of people right now who are using our app. We have a little more than thousands of people who use them daily, and we are growing. We also generate revenue, and I think actually you have access to our monthly updates as well. So if you want me to share more, I will be happy to share that.
Mm-hmm. Is there more you can share about the pain point of users understand that there's lots of different mobility apps, but where did you get the insight that they really wanted integrated into one surface?
Yeah, exactly. So I came up with an idea when I got out from the train station in Milan. And I was like, there are like 3 different scooter companies, and I didn't want to put my driver's license in it, wait and answer. And it happens each time when you want to use car sharing vehicle, or you want to buy a ticket. For example, you can buy a ticket for the AC Transit in Auckland. You go to like New Jersey, you go to New Jersey, you want to go to New York. After we have partnership with New Jersey Transit, you buy a ticket for the New Jersey Transit in Bassmap. So this frustration of having all those different apps, different like cards, Clipper card, like in Boston, another card. It's so hard for the user and for travelers and for people who live in the city. So we solve this problem. And at the same time, because we have a lot of data, we can give this data to the transit authority to improve the infrastructure. They're spending billions of dollars to improve it. They are looking for data, and Bassmap is a good example for them to get this data.
Mm-hmm.
To end, I have a user questions. So let's say like from San Francisco to New York, and I just want to take the flight and then take a train into New York. Do you automatically buy those tickets for me?
So yours the same as in Kayak, right? So you buy a ticket in Kayak. So it's going to be, we apply to become a travel agency in a few months. Right now, you'll be able to buy for 400 airlines in the app. Also, Amtrak will go live with API in October. So from October, you will be able to buy a ticket for the Amtrak in Bassmap. And if you will have partnerships in the next 2 months with Coltrane, you will be able to also buy a ticket for the Coltrane.
Awesome. Anatoly, thank you so much for joining us. Cool. All right. Coming up next, we have Jessica from Immersive Cure. I want to point out that Edith just got the list of names like 2 minutes before we went on, and has somehow managed to do all of the research in the meantime. Very, very impressive. All right, Jessica, I can see your face. Are you on there?
Okay, now can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. Are you able to turn on your video?
Yes, I can.
All right. There we go. Cool. Right. Well, thanks for joining us. And in a moment, you're going to see a timer count down 3 seconds. There we go. And you're live.
Hi, I'm Jessica, founder of Immersive Cure. We create and deliver real-world virtual reality experiences for veterans. Our goal is to create content for the 18 million veterans who are suffering from pain, anxiety, and stress and social isolation. Most of our customers or clients live in part of the 65,000 accredited facilities and are nearing end of life. And the vulnerability of end of life, coupled with the invisible burdens of being a veteran having served, are most of the time causes of much of their pain. To mitigate that, we use virtual reality experiences, sell these to facilities, and hopefully honor these veterans and enhance communication. Our initial content is tours of Vietnam and Korean War memorials, and we also have alternative of calming experiences such as swimming with dolphins, walking on a beach. We developed a Bluetooth software program that requires a staff member to operate and control this, and they're there to support the veteran when they come out of the experience and then in days to come. For B2B, we have 5 customers.
Awesome, thanks. I'm just going to ask my own question as we get started. Which VR platforms are you using currently?
So I use the Pico headset, and we use an Android tablet, and we created our own Bluetooth software program to do that.
Okay. Well, very compelling mission. So great to hear. When you thought about the type of content, how much of it are you producing any in a proprietary way, or are you more an aggregator of this content that you then bring to your end customers?
Yeah, so we go out and shoot the content and then create the content. So the veteran content that we have is ours. We have our competitors have wanted it. They've asked to license it, but I'm not ready to give it up yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got it. And is that a particular, you work with doctors, so there's it's like a series content, so they're going through a program with the 5 customers that you have so far, which is all B2B. Who make decision to buy, and like, are they using any other alternative solution today, and how do you see that?
Sure. So we sell to long-term care and hospice facilities for the most part. And right now they just use standard comfort measures, which are, hands-on aromatherapy, television, music. So those are the therapies they're using to help mitigate the pain, anxiety, and isolation. But with virtual reality, it's actually been proven by Skip Rizzo, who's the grandfather of VR, but it will mitigate 30% of your pain just being in virtual reality by being able to sort of hijack your brain and making you release your own endorphins. So this is a non-pharmaceutical way to address this pain, anxiety, and stress. So as far as I think you were alluded to in the beginning is more of like an exposure therapy, maybe, and we do not do that, but this is just the beachhead market. I think that PTSD and helping with that in VR is definitely a space that we want to get into. We just don't have that expertise in our team yet.
That's great. One piece of advice on the pitch, I thought you did a great job in the beginning, sort of framing the number of veterans, the scale of the sort of mental health challenges and other. One thing that would be great to integrate into that is an idea of sort of the spend or market size of these facilities where a lot of veterans are going through end of care life. I thought some of the qualitative things you just said around the aromatherapy and others kind of brought it to life. But if there was a way to capture the total dollars spent there and then describe your VR solution and why you think that this is even better than where some of the money's going now and why.
And I think also one of our challenges is exactly that, because it is a new modality in an established market, and the market, they're not spending a lot of money. A hospice doesn't have a lot of money for this. Long-term care has more, and especially if they're private pay, they have a lot more money. But we're also finding that crowdfunding, sort of going out to a VFW or an American Legion and asking them to pay for that facility, then you're helping the community by connecting a long-term care facility and the people that are coming into it, so they both are helping each other. So that's one of the ways that we're helping them fund right now until they realize that this is really, a digital healthcare is where the new digital healthcare is. Yeah.
There is actually some study, and you can probably throw it in your pitch, is saying like 30 billion in terms of VR in healthcare market, 30 billion by 2026.
Yeah, 34 billion. Yeah, and that's just the healthcare part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and plus, you actually have that on LinkedIn about your personal story. Obviously, 1 minute is not enough, but if you add to sort of 30 billion, my personal story, and 5 customers, definitely tons of folks would love to talk to you afterwards.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'd love it.
Awesome. So 1 minute's not enough, 4 minutes, unfortunately not enough either. But Jessica, thank you so much for joining us. Coming up next. Thank you. We'll see you at Disrupt. We have Lash from Zenon coming up.
Hello there.
There we go. Hello. Great. So we're going to give you a countdown in about a second. You'll get 3 seconds. There we go. And you are up.
Hello, I'm Blash. I'm co-founder at Zenon. We can all agree that purchase, pre-purchase, and purchase is a smooth 21st century experience. The problem happens after the purchase. We still got these annoying paper receipts, warranties, user manuals, and no help when product breaks. It's 1950s. Meanwhile, brands spend $150 billion a year for advertising to acquire users. After the purchase, only 3% of them actually register. To the rest, brands lose all the connection to. So how do we solve for that? For users, Zenon is your product assistant app. We organize all your products, collect invoices, track warranties, show explainer videos, user manuals, and help you sell stuff you no longer need. For brands, Zenon is the first ever channel to their users to drive cross-sell, upsell, and resell. Our USP is that we know what users bought and when. We got a tech team with a track record of winning Apple App Awards and business team that work for leading consumer brands. We're reinventing the post-purchase experience for users and brands alike. Join us on a journey.
All right. Thanks for that. All right. Who's up first?
I'm happy to go. How can you explain a little bit how you're going to reduce the friction of getting that information into the app?
Yeah, it's pretty simple, right? So, I mean, currently what we do is you can scan the barcode or you can scan the receipt or even forward the email if you bought it online, and then all the information gets loaded into the app. And we're working in actually some of the leading fintech companies to, as soon as you purchase, it asks you, do you want to save it, and then get saved automatically as well. So. And
all the warranty information and some of the other sort of data points you mentioned get in there that simply as well?
I mean, for the, there are certain regulations, for example, we come out of Europe, out of Switzerland, actually. So in Europe, there's a specific 2 years period and so forth. And with the brands we work with, it can automatically link it up because usually they have a specific period for specific products. Yeah.
Blash, did I say your name correctly? Sorry.
That's okay.
What you're building remind me of, TripIt, right? You know how like they actually have a plugin and basically be able to sort through all the email with a very particular format. Yeah. I a few years ago, I was looking at this product where they essentially just through the format and a certain title of that email be able to do all that. So it's almost like frictionless. Yeah. Instead of like taking a photo of the receipt, probably everybody send an email for confirmation. That could be maybe even faster.
For sure. I mean, we're working actually in a solution like that, that we would be basically able to scan the emails and just upload it in. And then we also, with the brands we work with as well, they put us on the packaging, right? So, they offer extended warranty, scan the barcode, all the information in there. Including, by the way, the user manuals and explainer videos, being able to purchase accessories for the product you bought and so forth, which we also see that is one of the pain points, right? I mean, sometimes you buy something and then you forgot what exactly the name of it is, and then you try to work out, I don't know, you buy a printer, what is a cartridge that comes along with it and so forth. So that solves for that pain point as well, actually.
I see. So have you launched, actually you have launched already. Can you tell a little bit about where you're at in terms of traction to install and active, and what have you learned so far?
Sure. So we launched in Europe. So at first was a prototype for iOS, and then we launched the Android as well. So we have 10,000 downloads. We have something like 1,000 active users currently. And we actually signed brands, including 2 of Fortune 100 companies, actually. It's coming live. And as well as basically repair shops or sort of like aggregator of sort of repair and being able to install stuff. One of the biggest insurance groups in the world actually as well. We're piloting some of the stuff and we can't disclose which ones exactly because it's still under NDA before it goes live. But yeah, so the traction both on the specifically on the let's call it partnership side is very, very strong. Yeah.
Great. I thought you did a good job laying out some of the macro things at the start of the pitch. I'd love to hear more about the pain points of why users might like this or similar behaviors. Like when you were talking about it, I was thinking about, oh yeah, I downloaded that wine app on my phone to scan bottles, but I never bothered to. Or how often do I search my Amazon purchase history? Or it's like trying to look for, trying to connect with those pain points. So if there's ways to bring that to light a little bit more, to understand kind of how large of a user segment is it that really wants this type of information, I think that would be super useful.
Sure. I mean, we've done, we've done the research. It's about 68% of people have the pain point across the post-purchase. I mean, thanks for the tip. And it's Vivino app, right?
Exactly.
Thanks.
Great to meet you.
The pain point of the 1 minute pitch, I would say, at the end of the day. Blush, thank you so much for joining, guys. We got two more coming up. Jaden from Family Proud is coming up next. There we go. Jaden, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can. Awesome. So we're going to give you a countdown in about, there we go. And you are live.
Good afternoon. My name is Jaden Risner, the CEO co-founder of Family Proud. Several years ago, I was deployed with the Navy when I was notified that my mother had a heart attack, and I was forced to deal with the burdens of remote support and care. I've been an informal caregiver now for over 5 years and joined the ranks of over 53 million caregivers across the United States that are unpaid. Introducing Family Proud, a collaborative care platform that makes providing and receiving support easy for our families and our loved ones. We make it easy to communicate, coordinate care, and share lessons learned. We partner with patient family support organizations by empowering their community through a licensed technology and also provide them data insights to provide the best possible care. We're a proud graduate of a top digital health accelerator, an SBIR recipient, and have signed customers. Our family is made up of Naval Academy graduates and Stanford graduates as well, but most importantly, we're patients and survivors ourselves and understand what it means to deliver empathy through technology. We raised $1 million in pre-seed funding and continue to focus on our growth as we look forward. Thank you.
Awesome. Jaden, thanks so much.
Well, great pitch, Jaden. I think you guys are really, start with saying you did a really great job integrating the kind of personal story and the pain point that I agree is hopefully not universal, but very widespread. So that's super helpful. Would love to understand a little bit more about the business model, how you're pricing, and how you think about that evolving over time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are right now a SaaS model with these patient family support organizations as our phase one. So certainly based on the size of organization and seats. The intent is obviously to have the cost off the families, but to the organizations that support them. We certainly see this applicable to associations that support families. So for example, we're partnered with the Down Syndrome Association, and we certainly see this being applicable to health systems as well. Certainly over time, evolving from the SaaS model, we certainly see not only the SaaS construct, but also embedded partnerships as well that can be additional revenue streams.
Got it. I just want to clarify one thing. You are to facilitate the communication between everybody involved. You're not responsible for finding the care themselves, right?
That's right. And that's why we're partnering with these existing communities and empowering them with the technology more than just a Facebook group. And so this allows them to have a tangible way to provide support, have the analytics of their community engagement, and meet the families where they are.
Got it. Can you quickly talk about like when did you launch, and so far is it mainly on the mobile format? And if so, like if you can share some numbers with us.
Sure. So being fully transparent, we actually launched as a direct-to-consumer originally, and then we pivoted. And so we learned that, of course, the capital and requirement to go direct-to-consumer was significant, and that shifted us to really uncovered the SaaS opportunity. The SaaS opportunity is actually launching this month. So we've got 5 signed contracts pre-launch for that SaaS model. And a lot of that funding through the DoD and the Air Force Family Resiliency Program has funded us to where we are today to get there. And then in terms of the consumer facing, we had around 500 families or so that we learned a tremendous amount and have applied that forward. So the user facing family interface is mobile. The web face is really just the analytics dashboard for the organizations.
Great. Jaden, as you sort of develop the product, understanding it's pre-launch, what sort of metrics are you looking? I think that the understanding that communication is a pain point for groups of people in this situation, but how do you expect to quantify the impact of using your product versus not, as you sort of solidify the value proposition and try to get more people to buy it?
Absolutely. So the ability for, how for the K factor, are people inviting other family members on? How much are they engaging with resources? Really, how much can we empower the community, which is defined by that engagement, the value of connecting them to others, and certainly recognizing that growth of community, that we're also applying behavioral science techniques from an oxytocin perspective of empowering people to serve others within the community. So how can you help others within a community that you're a part of? How can you build that trust? And so really trying to provide those flows to be able to do that. So are they inviting family members on? Of course, engagement with resources, as well as the support that they actually receive from an impact reporting perspective for these organizations.
Great.
Congratulations. I think like in your 1-minute pitch, if you mentioned you have already contracted with DoD, 500 families, and plus you come from the Navy, and it's give you so much credibility. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, talk about those wins.
Yeah, very, very compelling. In our final 10 seconds, one thing I was left wondering about was how the product, how you see the product roadmap evolving over time, like what to add beyond the sort of communication front. So it'd be maybe great to integrate some of that at some point. But awesome work.
Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate it.
Cool, Jen. Thanks so much. All right. Coming up next, we got our 10th and final pitch. It's going to be Mike from Nitro AI. Mike, I can see you. Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So, Mike, you're going to get a 3-second countdown. You'll see on the screen, and you're good.
The B2B sales process has changed meaningfully over the last 18 months, creating new challenges and opportunities. But what hasn't changed? The need for reps to pitch confidently across the sales journey, from the elevator to the demo to the close. However, the multi-billion-dollar sales training industry is stuck on ineffective and unscalable legacy methods. Gartner recently revealed 93% of B2B reps are having significant challenges with virtual selling. Moreover, for all the sales tech out there, sales training outcomes such as ramp times are only getting worse. Nitro solves this vital problem with our AI-powered SaaS platform focused on onboarding and ongoing readiness. Reps prove they are ready via company-specific pitch practice scenarios. Moreover, our auto-scoring technology enables bandwidth-constrained sales managers to provide unbiased coaching and reallocate training time to closing deals. We're helping companies, including Google Cloud, to adapt and improve their sales training outcomes by up to 60%. We invite you to join us on our mission to empower confident selling in the new normal. Thank you.
Awesome.
Great. Well, great job sort of articulating the challenge and bringing the highlights of your solution to life. I'm curious the onboarding process and how hard it is for a company to get up and running and get effective feedback from the platform.
Good point. I think it does vary in terms of readiness, but really all we need is some sample pitches that are deemed best practice for that company. We basically import that into our system. That serves for the model for the AI to provide that kind of tailored, customized feedback. So with some organizations, that can be as quick as just a few days kind of a thing. For others, they may take a week or two to kind of get that live. But overall, it's sort of after that's done, it's plug and play. You don't need any sort of like months of time to sort of get it up to speed.
And so your auto scoring technology that you mentioned, do you have data that shows that that's sort of effective, like what your scoring is? And is that predictive of how maybe that they're ready to hit the field? Is it predictive of how they'll do over time?
It's a really good point. Yeah, our company was born within an environment of needing to have quick training time and quick onboarding in order to sell within like a week or two after training. And so, yes, we do have correlations between certain scores we offer, specifically similarity to kind of the best practice pitch of close to 0.6, 0.7 type positive correlations with subsequent sales performance.
Who are you selling to? Are you selling to sort of the regional sales director, or are you selling to HR, or are you selling to training? And how do you charge?
Yeah, good point. So we currently we've started on the enterprise path. And so we're selling to sales enablement, sales training, more on sort of the corporate level. Though we do have some customers that have bought more of like the sales director point, just for their division. How do we charge? It's a per seat model, typical kind of SaaS model, and monthly charge for that. Obviously, we prefer to be paid annually.
So Mike, two things that I thought would be helpful to sort of incorporate into your pitch, a little bit more about your personal story, why you, what sort of compels you to solve this specific problem. And then, the sales tech landscape is quite crowded, as you know. So the thought that was running through my head is, I wonder, are there other platforms doing this, or would it be an easy extension? So some sort of context as to why you think that others haven't gone after this, given the size of the opportunity.
Very good feedback. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, you should definitely mention that you worked at Google for 6 years. And maybe, I don't know, you and Laela maybe met each other before. I have no idea.
Not yet, no.
It's a big company. It's
a couple other people there besides Mike and I. And so I guess so far, like the few customer that you listed on your site, from Dell to Google, how long is usually the sales cycle?
Yeah, it's a little longer because it's enterprise. So I would say in total, end to end, 4 to 6 months. It includes a POC period in there, sort of proving out the model for them and tuning it. That's kind of where it lands.
Cool.
And how do you imagine the product will evolve from what you have now to what are the big sort of milestones?
Yeah. So we could see our roadmap includes different modes of pitching. So maybe not just this, but also think written kind of, introductions and what have you. Moving from just audio evaluation to more video evaluation as well, to getting more sophisticated there. So different ways.
Cool. Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right. Thanks to everybody who pitched today. That was fantastic. Laela and Edith, I don't know how are you feeling about the lightning pitch rounds? I know there's a lot that we crammed into about an hour there, but I don't know. Is this like, it's going to be the new format going forward now that we're doing everything over Zoom, just getting as many startups in as possible?
Yeah, it's hard it's great, but you definitely need the follow-up questions to, I think, understand fully what a lot of the companies are doing. But I thought all the entrepreneurs did a great job being able to tell their story as concisely as possible in that minute.
Yeah, I think a Zoom is the perfect venue for people to practice pitching, because before, like, Laela and I probably meet an entrepreneur at least an hour, and then you probably get the same information out of it anyway. So we all get all of us to be super efficient. So love it.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, you have suggestions about things you can fit in, and then you remember, oh, this was a minute. You fit in as much into that time as humanly possible. Awesome. Well, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much, both of you, for taking the time today. We had a lot of fun. And thanks to everybody else who tuned in. TechCrunch Live goes down every Wednesday starting at noon Pacific time and 3 p.m. Eastern time. We will see you next week. Thanks so much.